Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Coming up this week, we take a look at a new Virality feature from Notion, Microsoft's controversial growth experiment for Copilot, which is frustrating users in Australia and Southeast Asia, plus some new announcements from Nvidia's keynote this week. As well as that, we've got a blend of practical tools and data to help you to stay ahead at work. And if you enjoy the briefing, hit the subscribe and the like button. So first up, Notion has released a simple but pretty creative new product growth hack that seems to be gaining traction. So this is called Faces. And what it does is it allows you to create your own face in the style of Notion drawings and then share it with others. In many ways, this is an indirect growth hack for Notion, since these faces don't explicitly use the Notion branding anywhere. But this style is now synonymous with the company. So this is a pretty smart new growth tactic that I thought was worth mentioning if you're considering introducing some growth tactics of your own for your own product. In other news, Microsoft is also experimenting with some growth experiments of its own, but this time users aren't particularly happy about it. So according to an article in the Wall Street Journal, Microsoft is forcing users to use Copilot in Australia and Southeast Asia, even if they don't want to. So essentially, Microsoft is adding Copilot to all of its products, and if that wasn't bad enough, it's raising its prices as a result, whether users want it or not. So this is likely to be a test that Microsoft's currently running in one territory to be able to collect users' feedback. But this still feels like a major strategic blunder for Microsoft, which could potentially backfire. In my view, if a user doesn't really want to use an AI assistant, then they shouldn't be forced to do so. One user who was commenting on his experience said, "It was very keen to be used," talking about the Copilot. And this was very irritating to me as a user. So in this sense, this is almost like an evil version of Clippy coming back from the dead to goad users into using something they don't want to use. In this case, the user eventually decided to ditch Microsoft entirely and switch to Google Docs instead. Now, whether that's representative of all users is yet to be seen, but this does feel like a pretty aggressive strategy from Microsoft to drive adoption for Copilot across all its products. So Microsoft is treading a very fine line here with its AI growth strategy. In other news this week, Nvidia kicked off the year in which their CEO launched a series of new features under the banner of Agentic AI Blueprints. So these blueprints are a set of ready-to-use templates and tools that are designed to help developers and businesses create advanced AI agents that are capable of performing complex tasks autonomously. These blueprints are integrated with Nvidia's AI enterprise software, and developers can use these blueprints as starting points to build custom AI agents that are specific to business needs. Some of the examples that were shown on stage include PDF to Podcast, which is a blueprint that allows developers to create podcasts from PDFs, as you might imagine, and Document Research Assistant, which is a blueprint that harnesses Nvidia's microservices to help content creators produce high-quality blogs through automated research. Nvidia is certainly kicking off the year with a bang, and also recently revealed that it has now made over $1 billion in investments in startups as it tries to extend its ecosystem moat around the GPU business. If you're interested in learning more about what AI agents are, then a new white paper published by Google scientists might be something of interest. In this paper, it provides an overview of the different types of tools that are used in the creation of AI agents, and it offers practical guidance with code examples and real-world applications using Google's Vertex AI platform. Some of the examples include a travel agent for booking holidays, customer service agents, and smart home controls as well. So if you're interested in learning more about what AI agents are, then that white paper could be of interest. And over on the Substack this week, we have some inspiration for using AI at work. Some of the knowledge series that might be of interest to you include how to use Perplexity to automate market research, how to use NotebookLM at work, and how to use Claude artifacts to build some simple product prototypes. So if you're interested in getting more hands-on with AI at work, then they may be of interest. In other news, Auth0, which is an authentication platform, has announced a new integration with a price management startup called Stigg. Now, if you remember, we mentioned Stigg on the briefing a few weeks back, but this is a new announcement from both companies, which essentially connects Auth0's identity management with Stigg's entitlement enforcement capabilities. So what this means is if you're using something like Auth0 to identify who your users are, you can then connect this with Stigg to confirm which permissions a specific user has and what they're entitled to. So if that's something that's on your agenda for 2025, then that could be worth checking out as well. And speaking of your 2025 plans, if part of your roadmap this year involves building AI agents that you can use internally, then you may be interested in this new piece, which analyzes how major companies are using AI agents internally. This analysis included companies like Johnson & Johnson, Moody's, eBay, Deutsche Telekom, and more, and explains the types of jobs that AI agents are currently performing internally. So at Moody's, for example, they created a multi-agent system where agents supervise other agents and are given specific tasks like financial analysis and research. And at eBay, they developed a proprietary agent framework that works with multiple LLMs, with a longer-term plan to launch agents that assist buyers with finding items and sellers with listing products. I've summarized this in a Substack note over on Substack, so if you're interested, you can check that out as well. Now let's look at some tools you can use. And first up is something called Add to Sheets. And this is a fairly simple product, and it's a Chrome extension. And what it does is it allows you to save text, links, and images all in one spreadsheet without having to switch tabs. So this is super handy for those instances where you're browsing the web or reading your emails and you want to save specific pieces of information into a Google spreadsheet. In this case, all you need to do is select the text that you want and then add it to a Google spreadsheet. Super handy for productivity. Next is a company called TestSprite, which is an end-to-end QA product that allows you to automate the testing of your entire product. This is a brand new product that is backed by Techstars, but if testing is on the top of your agenda for this year, then that could be worth checking out. And finally, if you're somebody like me who likes to get deep work done with no distractions and you find lyrics pretty annoying when you're trying to do work, then Project Ambience could be something to check out as well. It's a tool that is specifically dedicated to creating AI-tailored ambient music mixes which are optimized for focus, productivity, and relaxation. So if you want to kickstart your 2025 with some deep work sessions, and you're looking for some audio that can complement that process, then Project Ambience is definitely a product worth checking. Moving on to some data trends and some interesting research now. And if you're planning to build new AI features into your products this year, then this is a study that you probably don't want to miss. So in this study, it found that most users don't want AI to seem human. Instead, users tend to react more positively to AI, which emphasizes the humans that were involved during its development. So rather than positioning a bot as an AI clone, if you were to emphasize that it's a bot that has been developed by humans, then you may get more effective results. The study found that anthropomorphic chatbots reduced customer satisfaction and purchase intentions because customers were typically already angry at this point. When users turn to chatbots for help, they're typically frustrated with not being able to find what they need. And when they're duped into thinking that a chatbot is a human and find out that it's not, then that ultimately makes users more frustrated. Also this week, LinkedIn has published its fastest growing jobs in 2025 report. And perhaps unsurprisingly, AI engineer takes the top spots. According to the article, AI engineers design, develop, and implement AI models and algorithms that are used to process and solve complex problems. And most of the jobs for this are in San Francisco, New York, and Boston. The median number of years of prior experience is 3.6, and the gender distribution of this role is currently 80% male and 20% female. If you're looking for a new role in 2025, then this could be a good read to check out as well. Other data worth paying attention to is a report on the rise of WhatsApp. Paid messaging revenue is now one of Meta's fastest growing segments, and WhatsApp is driving a lot of that growth. 90% of Indian consumers now message a business at least once a week, and 66% of users report being frustrated with businesses that don't offer any type of messaging. Outside of India and in the West, messaging businesses directly in this way is still fairly uncommon. But if you're considering new customer engagement channels for your product or business, then perhaps WhatsApp is something to consider. And after launching it just before Christmas, OpenAI has now confirmed that it is actually losing money on its $200 pricing tier. Sam Altman says he personally chose the price point, but paid users are simply using it too much. OpenAI ended the year with $3.7 billion in revenue, but it spent $8.7 billion to achieve that. As a result, a corporate restructuring and price rises are reported to be on their way, as OpenAI tries to carve itself a path to profitability. Its competitor, Anthropic, has also confirmed that it is looking to raise more money, with a valuation of $60 billion, which is up from $18 billion last year. And finally, this week was the week of the Consumer Electronics Show, and there were far too many things demoed to cover in this briefing, but one which might be of interest is a new startup that is designed to boost your productivity in a slightly different way. In this case, it connects to your brain. It's called Omi, and it's created by a small team based in San Francisco, whose ultimate mission is to make humans 1,000 times better by connecting them with machines and building a brain-computer interface that they believe will increase productivity by at least 100x. I mean, I love productivity, but that might be a little bit extreme for me. And finally, alongside this brain productivity interface is something a little bit different, which is this: a fuzzy purse-mounted fluff ball. This is a robot that you can attach to your bag that its creators, it says, is designed to delight bystanders. So what it does is it reacts to people around you by turning its head. And its genesis is the yokai, which is the mischievous supernatural spirits that are found in Japanese folklore. So if you're looking to make an impression on your return to work, then this is certainly one way to do it. And on that note, I'll end it there. Thanks very much for watching and listening, and we'll be back next week.